regarding the so-called Affordable Care Act, here's what Senator Mike Rounds, Republican from South Dakota, said, number 11.
Senator Klobuchar said that there are Senate Republicans that recognize something has to be done about the health care subsidies. It affects a lot of their constituents as well, who are going to see bigger premiums. If you're going to come to an agreement with them on that, is it not helpful to talk about that, to offer them assurances, if that's their primary demand in the government shutdown?
There are several items that have to be discussed, and I won't try to go into it today. We've been talking privately for a long time about it. But number one, even if these subsidies that came in, the COVID subsidies as we call them, or the subsidies that President Biden authorized, even if those were put back in the way they are, with all of the corruption and all the fraud that was still included in it, and Democrats admit that there was fraud that needs to be fixed in it, but even if we left it all alone and just redid it, you could probably change the premiums that are going to go up by maybe 5%. It's going to go up between 16 and 30% this next year, regardless of what Congress does. And part of it's because Obamacare has never worked correctly. It's always needed subsidies. And that's the reason why when they put it in the first place, there were subsidies included in it. And secondly, they put additional subsidies in at the time that the COVID crisis hit. And now it's Democrats that set the time in which it would expire. They set it up for December of 25 for those credits to expire. And now they're telling us, and they're suggesting to the American people, that it's our fault that their subsidies are expiring right now. They could have put it in permanently if they would have wanted to when they did reconciliation. They decided not to do that.
Yeah, well, that was the same argument that Democrats were making when Republicans wanted to extend the tax cuts, to be fair. They were saying, well, they put this deadline in place, and now Republicans were saying, well, if we don't extend this, it's going to be a tax hike. But on that, there are 54,000 enrollees in the ACA marketplace in your home state.
And there's 18,000 of them that are going to be dramatically impacted by this.
So what do you say to them if nothing's done and their premiums do double?
Even if we do the enhanced subsidies, their premiums are already going to go up probably 18 to 24%.
But they may say, I'd rather have 18% than double.
I don't disagree. But in order to do that, and we are more than willing to work with them, but not when the government is shut down. You can't take a hostage and then expect the other side to simply say, oh, you're taking a hostage, you shut down government, you're costing 43,000 jobs a month, and then to say, well, I guess you're just going to have to win this and we're going to let you do it. No, the answer is open government now. Let's get back to doing the business of the people. And with regard to the ACA, let's try to do something to actually fix some of the reasons why it continues to explode in price ever since it was incepted.
But it sounds like you would not vote for just a one-year extension of the subsidies.
I thought originally, when we had some time, we could find a way to make some modifications to the existing subsidies that are in place. Number one, the fraud has got to go away. And Democrats tell us that they agree with us on that. We know that there's literally billions of dollars in fraud. We've already got the criminal cases going on. Second of all, we've got to make it very clear that taxpayer dollars are not going to fund abortion services, regardless of it's in a state that it's legal in or illegal.
Okay, so that.
Now, a few things about that exchange you just heard. Keep in mind, he was talking to Caitlin Collins of CNN. And when he said that Obamacare was designed so that these subsidies would go away by a certain period of time, and then they would blame us for not extending them, she said, well, to be fair, Republicans do that too with the tax cuts. Don't you find it annoying when people like that go, to be fair? And regarding tax cuts, as opposed to extending the Obamacare subsidies, two very different animals. Tax cuts are designed to keep as much money in the pockets of the American people as possible. The Obamacare subsidies are simply charging other people for the subsidies other people are getting. Obamacare is a disaster. And finally, notice how this Republican senator said, well, we could work something out. Remember when Republicans wanted to abolish Obamacare? They've long since stopped talking about that. Because once you have a plan, a program, where some people are dependent upon it, there now then is a special interest wanting to continue those programs. And if you say, I'm sorry, special interest, you're not going to get it, you'll be accused of being cold and cruel and heartless, which is exactly what Ronald Reagan warned years ago when he said that when it comes to health care, what they're first going to do is have a program for senior citizens, because how can anybody not like senior citizens? Then they'll go to other groups, and eventually they'll get what they want, which is single payer. Notice the senator didn't say, well, Caitlin, what we ought to do is talk about health savings accounts, like 401ks, where people put away money tax-free, and they could buy an insurance policy, not unlike their car insurance, with a high deductible, and the money in the savings account would then be used for out-of-pocket expenses for non-emergency kinds of things. That used to be the way Republicans used to talk about this. Sally Pipes of the Pacific Research Institute and I talked about that a couple weeks ago. Republicans aren't even coming close to saying that because they know they're going to be hammered by the media and by Democrats who are going to accuse them of throwing Granny over the cliff. So Obamacare has succeeded in becoming more and more popular. More and more people are dependent upon this, and it has not driven the cost curve down, which is what Obama promised to do.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.